Not so long ago, one sandwich shop launched a series of ad campaigns so catchy and downright strange, they're probably still lodged in your brain to this day. That shop was Quiznos, and they rode that wave of bizarre humor to become one of the biggest sandwich chains in America. But as quickly as they rose to the top, the joint, famous for its weird commercials and toasted sandwiches, has faded away into obscurity. So
what happened to Quiznos?
The heck happened? Well, today we're getting the works on what happened to Quiznos. But before we get started, be sure to subscribe to the Weird History Food channel. After that, leave us a comment and let us know what other food-related topics you would like to hear about. All right, does anyone know how to get that damn commercial out of your head?
We love these subs!
Since they were introduced by Italian immigrants in the late 19th century, sandwich shops have become a staple of American culinary history. No matter where you wander in the USA, you can rest assured.
That's the thing about America, if you really think about it. The American kind of cuisine is just a conglomeration of every immigrant coming into America and giving us their culinary kind of like food, which is interesting. So you really come to think of it, America really has nothing. America truly is a melting pot of everybody else's shit, really.
That a deli counter is nearby. Nothing beats the classic sandwich, and the national pride for subs led many entrepreneurs to open delis all across the country. But it was in the crisp mountain air of Denver, Colorado, that a local chef began his own sandwich shop odyssey in the year 1981. When you hear the name Quiznos, you might assume it's a family name, but according to a former CEO, Chef created the name out of thin air. In fact, it has been claimed the Colorado grill master came up with it after reading a Wall Street Journal article, which stated names with Q's and Z's were the most memorable. The first Quiznos set up shop in a former gas station. In fairness, that kind of setup should make the sandwiches extremely toasty. Whatever the reasoning behind the unusual name, Quiznos launched in the mansion-lined streets of the Capitol Hill district with a distinct vision to serve sandwiches big on flavor.
The sandwich is interesting. This guy just came out with it like that. Quiznos. When you really think about it, is it more memorable than something like Subway? I think the name Subway would have more triggers, kind of like daily because of the name Subway. But then I think the name Quiznos actually is pretty memorable. When you come to think of it, it's like after all these years that I've forgotten to go buy a Quiznos restaurant or eat one. It's still a name that is like, oh, okay, yeah, Quiznos, yeah, we should go there. Oh, yeah, it doesn't exist anymore.
Introduce you to our friend, the conveyor belt oven. Because Italian subs were often sold out of deli counters and pizza parlors, most sandwich offerings were something of a side hustle, a quick, easy cash grab sold cold to customers on the go. But that all changed when Quiznos hit the streets of Denver, Colorado. Although the original Quiznos location offered soups and salads, local customers flooded their counters for their toasty subs. With Italian meats and dressings, insistence on quality goods, and a quick service attitude, the first Quiznos was soon drowning in business. But with only so many timed toaster ovens to crisp up their subs, lines got out of hand. Armed with their first conveyor belt oven, the Quiznos toasted sub revolution truly began. Without the means to assemble a chain on his own, the restaurant started its first franchise program in 1983. And once Quiznos became an option for small business owners, the sandwich shops soon dotted the Rocky Mountain landscape like snow on the bluffs. 1987 was a big year for the small.
It's really interesting to kind of look at the idea of franchising. But then, you know what's interesting is the point of their ovens. Because if you look at it, realistically, you look at something like Subway. Subway doesn't have conveyor belt toasting. It has you pop it in there, you open it, time, it comes out. But then Quiznos solved a very interesting problem of like, what happens when you have a flood of people coming in? The time toaster isn't going to do anything. It's going to cause congestion. So to get rid of this congestion, that conveyor belt technology is actually pretty revolutionary. And this idea of franchising, it makes a lot of sense, bro. If you can have something that can be duplicated and repeated over and over again, why not franchise it?
Small company. The sandwich business had been good to the Colorado resident, and it seemed like things would only get bigger. As Quiznos expanded, a father and son team by the name of Rick and Richard Shaden acquired their first Quiznos. Together, they opened a sub shop just a couple hours' drive from the original Capitol Hill location. Although Rick was in his early 20s, he used the guidance of his father to open 3 more Quiznos over the next 4 years. By early 1991, the Shadens were hungry for more and decided to make Quiznos a serious offer. When all was said and done, father and son acquired all 18 Quiznos locations. As the new owners took over the company, Rick Shaden became CEO of Quiznos at just 27. Under new management, Quiznos took off like a guided sub in the treacherous waters of fast food. Going public in 1994, the company made big money with its first shareholders. Just a year later, Quiznos claimed
13 years later, they go public? Yo, this father and son duo really knew what they were doing, man. They were really quizzing it. Sorry about that.
Named over 100 locations across North America. These toasty subs took...
Oh, they were really inquisitive. I got... Seth, you bastard.
hold of hungry customers. And by the late 90s, Quiznos was the third largest sandwich franchise in the world.
Damn.
The Quiznos menu was always intended to outshine its competitors. Their traditional sub, for example, features a plethora of black Angus steak, turkey breast, and ham. Or their toasty take on the chicken carbonara, a fan favorite among many die-hard enthusiasts. These menu options are a clear cut above the competition, but even from the beginning, they came with a heavier price. There is no denying that the company led the charge in warm breads. And before long, competitors got in on the action.
Warm bread,
Quiznos'
baby.
passion for fresh products paved the way for their success and
Warm
expansion.
bread, baby.
In fact, at the time, Quiznos' popularity was only outmatched by the mighty Subway. And in those glory days, Quiznos amassed an eventual 5,000 locations worldwide. Those conveyor ovens churned endlessly for a time. But time changes all. One of the first changes to take place at Quiznos was a partnership with Ray Wilson, a well-known figure in the American fitness craze of the previous decades. With Wilson as their spokesman, the company launched a chain of fitness clubs known as 123 Fit in the early aughts. Much like Wilson's previous gym franchise, 76 Family Fitness Centers, these locations offered memberships for a fee. While sandwich shops were no strangers to fitness-based ad campaigns, this partnership was not built to last. Within a few years, there were more shuttered 123 Fit locations than those left standing, and the company severed ties. The frantic decisions kept on rolling when, in 2005, the Coca-Cola Company signed an exclusive deal with Subway, which essentially forbade Quiznos from supplying Coke products to their customers. Rather than letting the dust settle quietly, Quiznos instead entered a retaliatory deal with PepsiCo in their own exclusive contract. While certainly a big move, this "oh hell no" attitude would soon lead Quiznos down darker trails.
Wait, but then doesn't that become like a situation of kind of like, what's it called? Doesn't that kind of become a whole situation of, oh no, are you choosing Coke or are you choosing Pepsi type of deal? Does it really have to do anything with the sandwich at that point? Who suffers? The customer suffers at this point, guys. This is not good. The customer is suffering at this stage. This customer is suffering, all right? Jeez. This is a battle between Pepsi and Coca-Cola at this point.
Though many fast food joints go the extra mile for commercials and ads, Quiznos took it upon themselves to truly go the distance. Similar to Skittles' Taste the Rainbow ads, Quiznos decided the best way to catch eyes was to create bizarre, anarchic commercials aimed at a younger audience. Quiznos released their Raised by Wolves ad in 2003. Starring a then unknown Jim Parsons, the commercials had a strange, stark tone with a laugh-out-loud twist.
What, were you raised by wolves? Yes, I was.
Although these early commercials showed the company's interests in big gags and weird perspectives, Quiznos was only getting started. In 2004, Quiznos released their first Sponge Monkey commercial. These ads were truly off the wall. With a pair of indescribable critters belting catchphrases and fragmented songs, the Sponge Monkeys quickly became either your favorite gag in the world or the most irritating thing you had ever seen. During this era, Quiznos
I don't remember the Sponge Monkeys, which is telling because I watch a lot of TV as a kid. So, and I make commercials now for a living for companies. So, I mean, this is really telling. Is this saying the worst of me that I don't know what this? Like, I don't remember the Sponge Monkeys. I don't remember the majority of Quiznos ads. Okay, Jesus.
kept the gloves on and swung wildly at their competitors. With claims that their sandwiches were miles above Subway and a routine of lowering their prices to match, Quiznos could not seem to stop reaching for that crown. But the numbers never amounted to that level of achievement, and the crazed ads kept coming. After the incessant screaming of the Sponge Monkeys, Quiznos entered an even more debauched territory, with adverts that featured a disturbing talking baby named Bob.
I'm all over this one.
And as if an infant with a creepy adult voice wasn't strange enough, enter the talking conveyor oven. Quiznos eventually weaponized their speedy ovens in a commercial presumably designed to shock customers into buying more sandwiches. In the ads, the talking conveyor oven is an anthropomorphic dirtbag and repeatedly claims to have assaulted an employee.
The new Toasty Torpedo.
The new Toasty Torpedo?
Yes, Scott. You make one.
Me?
Put it in me, Scott.
The vaguely creepy ad didn't sit well with some customers, and even had many yearning for the Sponge Monkeys. On top of these increasingly deranged ad campaigns, Quiznos also began suffering internally. Because the corporation subsisted on the money it charged its own franchisees for ingredients and supplies, restaurant owners were pushed to their limits. With rising food costs, fewer customers, and more competitors, many locations were simply desperate. Sensing the shifting tides, Quiznos made the fatal decision to send free sandwich coupons to potential customers. This move shocked franchise owners, who had not been notified of this event, and even those who had known felt.
Damn, a free sandwich at Quiznos? Employee appreciation certificate? Well, that's not an employee appreciation in any. Well, that's not a. No. You're going to give away free subs and you're going to then claim that it's employee appreciation? Stop it. Stop it. You guys are getting desperate. That's desperation.
Like the corporation had dealt them a deadly hand. In their frustration, many Quiznos owners refused to accept these free product coupons, and all hell broke loose. Relationships between the company, restaurant owners, and their customers all suffered greatly from this move. But under the surface, even more questionable tactics were being employed against franchisees. In one particularly dark case, an American Quiznos owner was shocked to learn another franchisee had been allowed to open a location within close proximity to his own. This led his already struggling Quiznos to almost completely dissolve, and the owner took action. However, after filing legal proceedings against the parent company, he began to fear that the ensuing battle would leave him penniless. So, he tragically ended his life on site, inside the restaurant, and left a note condemning the company as a whole. During this storm of bad press and dirty dealings, a recession took hold in America, and Quiznos was hit hard. The resulting fallout and damage to their brand eventually led the company to bankruptcy in 2012. This unfortunate brew of events created what many have called the most swift decline of any American restaurant corporation, a perfect storm of tragedy that, according to experts, is unlikely to ever happen again.
This is crazy, dude. Like, it was doing so good. It was doing so good. It was getting all these different clienteles. It was getting all these different people, and then it just took a hit. That is dastardly, dude. Dastardly.
Today, Quiznos has less than 150 locations, and that number doesn't seem to be improving. In fact, most locations that have survived are still struggling. Though they are no longer a newsworthy sensation, many franchise owners continue to sue the parent company to this day. More closings are announced every year with no sign of stopping, and it seems as though this could really be the end for those toasty subs. As competitors like Jersey Mike's and Jimmy John's have closed the gap behind the reigning champ Subway, Quiznos has trailed the list of leading shops for a decade. And although they have tried to rebrand and spark new interest over the years, these attempts seem like a continuation of their dastardly ways. Between magic mushroom-themed sandwiches resulting in concerned parents and cease and desist letters, to featuring in edgy comedy channels and online presences, Quiznos is a company in desperate need of reheating. Maybe it's time to bring back the Sponge Monkeys. So what do you think? Were you a fan?
I was a fan. I'm still a fan of Quiznos. If you give me a Quiznos sub, I'll eat it. Pause. All right, I'll eat it. I'm not out here trying to, I'm not trying to reinvent the sub wheel. All right, guys. Jeez. All right, I'll catch you guys in the next video. That's about it for me for today. If you have anything else you want me to react to, leave it in the comments. Either way, I'm out.